Hi, you're very welcome. And in this first part of the video or this tutorial, what I would just want to show you is how we're going to first of all use an if function basically to identify the status. So we kind of have cases here, a name, start date, end date, and the way we're going to classify the status is basically if the end date is blank or has text in it. Okay, so what I want to do is the way I'm going to do it is that I'm going to test, is there a number in the end date? And if there is, that means I'm going to assume it's closed, and otherwise I'm going to assume it's open. So I just come up to formulas, I just come up to logical, and I choose if, and then I use the isNumber function. IsNumber, is there a number in my end date? And if there is, okay, I'm just looking here now, something weird has happened. IsNumber, don't know where that plus came from. Open my left bracket, the end date, close my bracket. If there's a number, I'm going to say that it's closed, and then quotation marks. Otherwise, I'm going to say that it's open. And then I click OK, or press Enter as the case may be, and then I just double click to copy it down. And you can see there the ones that are open. Now the next thing I need to do is I basically want to, and I'm going to use the Countifs function for this, is what I want to do is basically kind of get a list of my classifications, okay, and I'm going to use the unique function for this. So I'm just going to go equals unique, which is what they call a dynamic array function, and I'm just going to click here on the classification, Control Shift arrow down once, Control arrow shift down twice, and this allows me to build in if we have ones in it. Now I've kind of done it this way because I have to say quite often if your people are newbie people, they can end up kind of just doing the formula down to a certain point, and then the data expands, and then they find their formulas are not working anymore because it hasn't included them. So this kind of makes this redundant. And if you notice there's a 0 because quite a few cells are blank in that one. And then if there's any updates to that, it allows for that. Now the other thing that I want to do is just basically make this sorted as well. Now the thing I want you to notice here is that this is called a dynamic array function. So it means when I look down here, and then I look over here, this one, see the unique, this is kind of dimmed, okay? So when you want to amend your dynamic array functions, you have to start from the very first entry there. So I click up here, click between the equals and the U, I put in sort, open quotation marks, and the array is the first bit there, unique, comma. I don't have any particular sort index. I go to sort order, I want to put it in ascending order, so I double click that one, and then I just close the bracket and press enter. Okay, and then you see it's actually sorted alphabetically, which is what I want. The next bit then is I want it to count the number of open cases, but let's say only when it's going to be after a particular start date, etc. I'll have the start date there, and it's a type A. So I'm going to use a Countifs for that. So I just come here to insert function, type in Countifs, and then click go. And then it pops up. Now I can also use a pivot table on this one, but for, because I want to set it up so it's very flexible, so you can just put in the dates here and it'll update automatically. That's why I built this in. So my criteria range first is I'm going to choose my classification type here, click here, Control Shift arrow down, Control Shift arrow down again. Right, I press F4 to lock it. Okay, and one thing about doing these Countifs functions is that all your criteria ranges must be the same height. Okay, and I've locked that because it's going all the way to the bottom. And what I do then is I just click on this type, whatever is here. Okay, so that's going to count the number of type A's, and then I can copy that down. Then what I want to do as well is I also want to look at its status. So click criteria range 2, click down status, Control Shift arrow down, Control Shift arrow down again, F4 to lock it, and then criteria 2 is I want it to be open. So I click here and I just press my F4 to lock that one because I don't want it to change. And the last one then I'm going to look at is just the dates. So let's just click here, and let's say I want to do the start date, so click here, Control Shift arrow down, Control Shift arrow down again, F4 to lock it, and then I'm just going to across here, and then I'm just going to say open quotation marks greater than or equal to, and close quotation marks, and then ampersand, and then this one up here, I'll just use F4 to lock it, and then I click OK. And the thing I'm always looking for is just to get a little number there. Yeah, so that looks promising. And then I'll just, number 28, I'm just going to check that as well. Sometimes you just have to press Enter keys, 28. So I want to see how many type A are open, and I've got 28. So I just go, choose classification here, choose my type A, choose my open, and then when I go down here to the very bottom, you see there it says type 28. That's it, and that gives it to me there. So looking good, and then I come up here to data, and then I just clear the filter. Okay, so I've got that one done, and then I just click on this one. There we go for the rest of them. Now for the closed one, I'm going to do a kind of a similar type of thing, and I'm just going to do the formula again because sometimes repetition is useful. So I just go to formulas, insert function, Countifs, because it remembers what it's done. So my criteria range then is going to be classification. So click here, Control Shift arrow down, Control Shift arrow down again, F4 to lock it, and then I click on my criteria 1. There we go, on that one. My criteria range 2 is I'm going to look at the closed. So I just click on this one, status, Control Shift arrow down, Control Shift arrow down again, F4 to lock it, and I just click closed up here. Alright, I'm just going to lock that actually, F4, and I should have locked the other one too. No, that's okay, that's that one there. Okay, type is fine, but I need to lock that one because I will be copying it down. I then want to say for the dates, so criteria range here is click on the start date, Control Shift arrow down, Control Shift arrow down again, F4, and then just lock that as well, F4 again, and open quotation marks, greater than or equal to, close quotation marks, ampersand, and then click on the start date, and then F4 to lock that. So basically I want to say everything that's after that date, start date, and then I'm doing the same thing again, end date, Control Shift arrow down, Control Shift arrow down again, and I just need to go all the way to the bottom because there's quite a few blank ones in it. There we go. F4 again, and then you see open quotation marks, less than or equal to, quotation marks, ampersand, and this date up here, and F4 to lock it, and then I click OK, or press enter, and then I can just drag this down here. Right. So one thing that I'm doing here is, this is just a way just to test all of them, is that I've picked the start date here, which I basically used the min function over here to identify the first date of that one, and the last date of the end date, that one there, and that kind of allows me to just do a very quick check on that one, just to see how I got, and I put little conditional formatting on that to say, is that equal to that? And then the last bit then, I just want to put in a chart, so just go insert, recommended charts, and I'm going to choose this one here. Okay, and I'm going to click on the chart title, and I'm going to link my chart title to this here. So click on the equals up here, and then click on this one. Okay, so let me just click on the chart title again, and then you need to go up into the formula bar and go equals, and then click on this one here, and then press enter. There we go. So I could change it, say count of dates, like dates. Okay, and then I'm going to click here, and I'm going to move my legend up to the top. That one there if you want to. There we go, makes it better. And then what I could do then is, if I want to change the order of this, click on this, right click. Alright, right click, and then if I go then, let's say, to Format Axis, and over here there's an option that says Categories in Reverse Order. Okay, and that actually puts it there into that order there, so that gives me a little bit more information. Okay, I hope you find that useful. Now, in the other sheet down here, I've kind of got with table. All right, I've done it, but for this case, I've actually formatted the answers, but I format this a table. So when you look at the formulas up here, you'll see it references a table